Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at an article from France 24. Now this was published on November 22nd. And I love how they're trying to paint this as a right-wing versus a centrist, left-right false paradigm, fence post sitter being Macron, and, try to actually change the appearance of the situation. Because with people of France, if they're fed up with something, it doesn't matter if they're, left-leaning, right-leaning, center. If they're finally fed up, they take to the streets. And that's what's happened here. And they're trying to make it sound like, oh, this is just the people on the right. Paris, the prize as French tax revolt rumbles on. Now, this is from the AFP as well. Frank Buehler, a leader of protesters who have barricaded French highways over the past week, aims to color Paris in the movement's trademark yellow on Saturday when rural France takes its fight with President Emmanuel Macron to the capital. Now, I love how they're trying to also paint this as a situation of rural France taking on the citified, Francos. It's like, no. I'm sure there are plenty of people that feel the same way as the yellow, this movement here with these people who, are going to paint the town yellow, so to speak. All right, that's not a rural versus city thing. Yes, cities tend to be more left-leaning, but that does not mean that you do not have people that are within their confines that align with these people and their beliefs. Let's be a little honest here. The 53-year-old political activist has called on demonstrators to swarm Paris on foot, horseback, or by car for the second round Saturday of a battle between centrist President Emmanuel Macron and rebels from the provinces. Emmanuel Macron is not a centrist. He's a globalist EU shit pig who wants an EU army. Someone who is a fucking centrist would not want the EU to have an army. Holy shit. Talk about propaganda, lies, and fake fucking news. He wouldn't, if he was a centrist, he wouldn't be pulling all this lefty fucking bullshit with the policies, like on the note of the environment and green and taxes on shit like fuel and stuff like that. Centrists don't do those things. At least not to the extent Macron did. And I love how they're trying to portray the people that have had enough. The average working French person. The salt of the earth people. The average person. How they're trying to portray those people as rebels because they don't want to suck EU, Macron, siphon off their wealth, stagnate the economy, keep them down, fucking dick. Because they don't want to live like that. They don't want to have to pay all this money in additional fuel costs because of taxes just to get to work. They're the productive members of society. They're the rebels. That makes no sense. How you can try to get away with that? You'd think you'd go, wait, people aren't going to buy that. But no, you tried it. A member of the right-wing Stand Up France party, Buehler has watched in horror as fuel prices soared in the past year, driving up the cost of his commute to work in the rural southwestern Tarn-et-Garonne region. I probably butchered that. I spend between 1 and 2 months' wages on fuel. He told AFP in an interview, accusing Macron, who has hiked anti-pollution taxes, of penalizing those who get up and go to work in the morning. Yes, exactly. See, part of this Agenda 21 shit is to make it so that you have to move to a city in order to go to your job. They don't want you living in the burbs and commuting. Macron isn't, that type of person. He wants that whole idea. That's the intent. Last weekend, hundreds of thousands of people wearing yellow high-visibility vests erected roadblocks across the country in a wave of anti-government defiance. They're not anti-government. Oh my God. This is such propaganda. They're anti-tax on the fuel. They're anti they're against a few other things as well, but they're not against the government itself. See, this is a choice of words that's done to try to make them sound like bad people. They're not against the government. They're against the actions the government has taken, like with these taxes on fuel. Two people have been accidentally killed and over 530 people have been injured in 6 days of protest that have shone a light on frustration over stagnant spending power in Europe's second biggest economy. Yeah, and you want to know why? It's because it's the intent. It's how they're intentionally guiding things through regulation and through taxation and things like that. Look they tried to do it in the United States with Obama going, oh, well, you're never going to see more than 1.8% growth. Trump reverses the shit that he did that caused that the other previous presidents who are globalist shit pigs like Obama did, that caused that. Start rolling that stuff back. Boom. Economy is up there. Now the private for-profit Federal Reserve is going, well, fuck me. We wanted to drive them into the ground and siphon all the wealth off with our other globalist buddies, and now they're trying to raise interest rates to fuck that going on. This is the government trying to intentionally railroad the economy into a freaking side of a cliff face. Like, you're coming up on you're on the ground coming up towards the cliff and you're railroading towards it at full speed. By the time you're at the end of the tracks, it's a slow increase as you're going along, but then right as you're getting towards the end, it's like the idea of slowly cooking a frog. You slowly cook them, they're not going to know, that you're boiling them at some point. Same type of thing. And at this point, they haven't kicked it into high gear. People, but people got desperate enough to speak up. And I'm sure they don't like that fact. Macron was elected on a pledge to put more money in workers' pockets, but the effects of his reforms on purchasing power have been limited so far. Because he lied to get into office because they did not want Le Pen, the populist. So he lied through his fucking teeth, and I think there was some shady shit going on in the election process as well. But hey, the Rex Code Institute predicts household purchasing power will rise only 1.3% this year, failing to compensate for an overall decline in disposable income of 440 euros between 2008 and 2016. Right, which for the average person, for someone of above average means, that might not be that much. But for the average hardworking French man or woman, I'm sure that 440 is a decent chunk of change. The problem is that before the global financial crisis, living standards were rising steadily, but that stopped in 2008 and the average household has still not recovered. Mathieu plane of the French Economic Observatory told AFP, which is a complete and total fucking cop-out. It's been 8 years. No, wait a minute. It's been 10 years. What am I doing? Why did I say 8 years? It's been 10 fucking years. Almost 11. Well, 10 and a half at this point, roughly. And you're trying to say that that still has an effect? You're full of fucking shit. It's how the government is running the economy that's caused this. It's not the financial crisis. If you decrease taxes, freed up money that way, people would be putting money into the economy. If you did other things as well, like lifted some regulations, things like that, again, the economy would improve. See, you don't want to talk about that. You don't want to admit that. You want to try and claim that something that happened a decade ago is the reason why the economy is still shit today. No post-2008 recovery. Yes, because your government in France was doing everything wrong. A 23% rise in the price of diesel in the past year was the last straw for many struggling families. Well, yeah, that's a major fucking increase in fuel prices. I mean, if you're paying, say, $400 a year, or 400 euros, we'll say, in fuel, you're paying another 100 on top of that. That's bullshit. Well, close to 100. The government has linked the price surge to world oil prices, but the yellow vests accuse Macron of punishing motorists while slashing taxes on businesses and the wealthy. Well, yeah, he's a globalist shit pig. Those are all his buddies. They're all globalists involved in that. Of course he's going to do that. And you want to talk about price surge because of world oil prices? Oil's at an all-time fucking low. It was continually dropping. The U.S. is now the largest exporter. OPEC don't control shit. That's a cop-out. To quote Maury Povich, that is a lie. Wow. If the French buy that shit of global fuel prices or global oil prices, they're pretty fucking stupid. Holy shit. Wow. This is not the first time the French, who pay more in taxes and Social Security contributions than any other EU country, have rebelled against levies they see unjust. Yeah, like I said, when the French have had enough, it don't matter if they're lean left, lean right, far left, far right, centrist, whatever. If they've had enough, they'll take to the fucking streets. They'll even get together on things regardless of that false left-right paradigm bullshit. If they agree on something and they're fed up, oh yeah, they'll work together. They don't care. They just, when it comes to that shit, what they care about is what's best for the French. Or at least traditionally, until the open borders bullshit. For political analyst Jean-Yves Camus, I fucked that up, the acceptance of taxes is based on the notion of redistribution. It declines when public services recede, the safety net dwindle, and the gap between rich and poor increases, he said. Yeah. Macron has vowed not to back down on taxing polluters. Oh, so you mean the people who drive to work that are actually productive, that you're going to fuck them on? And yeah, real smart, Macron. You will. How about the polluters in the corporate world? You're going to go after them? But with his ratings languishing at a record low 6 months ahead of European Parliament elections, the former banker, labeled the president of the rich by his opponents, has sought to present a more empathetic side. You have a rich fucking banker, And you think he's going to be a people's fucking president. You think he's going to do shit for the average fucking guy. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Right. Wow. They should have voted for Le Pen. They really should have. They'd be a lot better off right now. And they'd probably be looking at a Frexit. And there would probably be strong ties forming where you'd have a better going Brexit, you'd have a better going Frexit, you'd have a good going Frexit, and the U.S. involved in bilateral trade agreements, and the EU would be going, oh, fuck me. In a TV interview last week, he admitted that he had not succeeded in reconciling the French with their leaders and vowed to give the provinces more of a say in policy making. Yeah. Right. Sure. Uh-huh. If the French believe that, I have a smaller version of the Statue of Liberté that I would like to sell them. It happens to be there too. If they believe that, they'll believe I own the title of owner, the deed of ownership to it. So there are legitimate grievances that have to be given a hearing, he told his cabinet Wednesday. Yeah, sure you're going to hear them. Uh-huh. Yeah, sure you're going to listen. Sociétal Milice. The Yellow Vests have drawn comparisons with the fiery Breton Red Hats who forced the socialist government of François Hollande to scrap a pollution tax on trucks after weeks of protests in 2013 by food producers. Now, this is what scares them. This is more of a national movement. This is a movement that, like I said, will attract the people from the false left-right paradigm on either side. Because this is about things like taxes and shit like that, and more money in your pocket. And the left and the French, in France, I mean, they believe in the environment, but they're not, enviro nuts. So fuel taxes and shit, I think they'd be a little more reasonable. Other taxes are going to be more reasonable. So that's what scares them, is this could be something that could unite across the false left-right paradigm. Unlike the Red Hats, however, the Yellow Vests have national reach and represent a wide variety of grievances, from the cost of diesel to rising taxes on pensions to rural unemployment. Yeah. You got people that are in the rural areas of France, that are in the, the less citified areas. They want to work. They want jobs. Don't matter what side of the left-right political spectrum they're on. They want to work. That's going to unite people across that false paradigm. The pension thing? Oh, definitely. And they know this, and it scares them. The historian Jean Garrigues, I fucked that up, a professor of sciences at Po University in Paris, the protests hark back to the peasant tax revolt of 1358. Wow. You gotta love how they're... I got a kick out of this the first time I read it. That it goes back for a 1358 reference. Like the 12th century Jacquerie, named after the nickname given to the protesters by the nobility, the revolt is the expression of societal malice, which makes it very difficult to resolve, he told AFP. Yeah. You've got the average person fed the fuck up. And what they don't realize is what has also helped create this is the open borders and all the other shit that has led to, that has been a result of that. Like truck drivers of peace, things of that nature. So it's just kind of like they're piling on more and putting more pressure on them. And it's only a matter of time before something happens, and this is kind of what that's showing. Well, more than kinda. It's definitely showing that. Some observers see it in the seeds of a populist movement like Italy's five-star movement, M5S, which was born out of frustration with the political establishment and corruption and now shares powers with the far-right Lega Party. But which they, have to throw that in. Oh yeah, this will lead to far right. That's hint there. They got to throw that in there. Make that sound like this is going to lead to a far right thing. But unlike M5S, which was founded by comedian Beppe Grillo, no charismatic figure has so far emerged to lead the Yellow Vests, despite attempts by the right, far right, and radical left to channel their frustrations. Because it's just a group of people that have similar feelings about a situation and similar beliefs about it, getting together and saying enough is enough. Movements like that don't necessarily have leadership or need, that don't necessarily have it, don't necessarily need it. Because if you've got a united people and they're going towards similar direction, you don't need someone to guide the way. But if it comes to it, someone could very well likely step up and take that role. And it could be, oh God, what's his name? The 53-year-old here, Frank Bueller. You never know. He could become the face of this movement. I mean, I look at this, and they're trying to portray this as a situation where, and they toned it down. When I read this like yesterday, I didn't have a chance to cover it. Well, actually, when I read it on the 23rd at that point, it was just turning over to the 23rd. The context was a bit different. And it looks like they may have edited it down because it seemed like they were trying to link earlier when I read it. At least it seemed that way. It was more towards trying to push this far right thing. So I think they, if they did do that, they got a little backlash. And they went, oh, that doesn't exactly look good. Yeah, let's tone it down a little. And they edited it and didn't necessarily say that. But, I mean, if you look, this is just to go to show that people are fed up. The elitist, globalist types in Europe that are running these countries like France and Germany are now seeing the end of people just going along with their shit. They're fed up. They're done. They want France for the French, Germany for the Germans. They want their own people to get the things that they believe that they should be getting. And stop those things that they feel are being used against them. Well, not necessarily used against them, but that are wrong, that only hurt them. Like this idea of the fuel tax, that the 23% on diesel. So, I mean, just give it time. You're going to see stuff like this get more and more prominent throughout the EU and European member nations. Anyway, I've covered this well enough. I'm just going to leave things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video, when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.